Dun, 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 dun. Okay, we are live. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, everybody. We coming, we coming, we coming, we coming, we coming, we coming. Don't know who's gonna be joining me. Don't know if it's gonna be a solo act, but nonetheless, we are here. Just gonna set up some links. Wait for a few people to join. You got a few people in the comment section. Good. Hello, 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 everybody, bro. Here we go. Just sharing a few links, and then we gonna go. We gonna go. We gonna go. Hope everybody's doing all right. We are getting close to kickoff. All right. What's up, Cat Five? How you doing? How's it going, my brother? Uh, welcome, welcome. We have made it to the off season. It's been one of the more entertaining off seasons in recent memory, but we are here. We are live. It is just me for the moment. Um, we got a lot to get into, a lot to talk about. Um, and I'm not sure exactly how I want to go with this show since I'm riding solo, but we're gonna figure it out. What's up, Mr. Joe Cool? How are you, my brother Joe? We playing American football tonight, Joe, just so you know. Anyways, um, obviously we there's so many plays to take it, right? You got the Eagles, you got the Cowboys. The Eagles are celebrating their banner night. They saying they're not going to be out there for the banner presentation. I don't know if I like it or hate it. I don't really have an opinion one way or another about it. But nonetheless, I think it's pretty cool that they're just, hey, last year was last year. It's on to this year. And to be honest, that's a good way for them to approach it because this team is slightly different than what they were last year. They lost some key pieces. Obviously, you had first with your right guard, Mekhi Becton, he's gone, and he was a crucial, crucial piece to that offensive line and how good they were. They lost Josh Sweat. They lost Milton Williams. Now, granted, I get that they still have Jordan Davis, Mr. Carter, Josh Sweat. I understand that they have all these guys available, but you lose depth, and sometimes your strength comes from depth. Rather, your super strength comes from depth. So that depth is no longer there. You lost CJ Gardner Johnson, your free safety. Now I get it. CJ Gardner Johnson is not an all pro by any means, but nonetheless, he is still a good starting free safety, and he was extremely valuable to those things that the defense did last year and what made them so effective and what made them so difficult coming down the stretch of the season. So that's the loss. You're replacing him with Sidney Brown. I don't think that's an upgrade. Respectfully, that's a downgrade. Number one, we don't know if Sidney Brown can stay on the field or not. And as the great Herm Edwards says, availability is your best ability. On cornerback, you lose Darius Slay. And I don't know if y'all have seen the tape, but Darius Slay can still play. All right. That dude can still ball. He is still, he may not be 2014, 2015 Slay, but who is? She. But he is still valuable. He is still, I would say, borderline elite as a corner. And some of the things that they did as a defense, there would be situations where they're essentially playing a cover two, especially in third down and long situations and third down and passing situations, I should say. They're essentially playing a cover two with four underneath defenders. But as you know, in a cover two, you get five underneath defenders. So what do you do with that fifth extra player? Essentially, that extra player is your cornerback, your outside corner, and he's essentially playing man coverage on the outside. So a lot of times when they would play their shells on the third and long situations, you would have Darius Slay lined up one on one on the outside, and he played it so well. Same with Quinion Mitchell. Well, now you flip it to this year, and in those situations, it's going to be Adoree Jackson. Number one, he's not young anymore. And one of the things that made Adoree Jackson effective was his speed. That speed is not what it was when he came into the
Right,
league
brother.
8, 9, 10 years ago.
Yes,
That's number
sir.
one. Number two, he got cut by the Giants. Like the Giants were in no position to cut anybody valuable for their secondary, but they cut him. So that tells you everything that you need to know. I think Adoree Jackson is going to be a borderline liability. All right. And the one thing you're not going to do is you're not going to move Cooper DeJean to the outside. You're going to keep him in the slot because that's where he's most effective. So tonight and moving forward, what should the Cowboys do? Let's get into the Cowboys game plan real quick. Well, the Cowboys have two number one receivers. No other way to put it. They have two number one receivers. And what you're going to do if you're the Cowboys is you're going to attack that corner. You're going to attack that deep safety with both those players. George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb are elite wide receivers. Make no mistake about it. George Pickens is not a 50-50 player. It is more like 80-20 when you throw it to George Pickens. He can make catches at all angles, from all levels, no matter where it's at. You get it to his vicinity, he will catch it. CeeDee Lamb, he is super explosive. So the situations where you see you got one-on-one on the outside with Adoree Jackson, don't matter if it's Pickens, don't matter if it's CeeDee Lamb, you got to attack that. Doesn't matter what the situation is, doesn't matter what the situation calls for. If you see you have a clear one-on-one matchup with Adoree Jackson, with any of those two receivers, you take it. Whether it's a slant, whether it's a comeback, whether it's a go, whatever it is, something that'll keep him isolated and give the receiver a one-on-one opportunity. I could promise you they are going to win that matchup. I ain't gonna say 10 times out of 10, but at least 9 times out of 10. I'm gonna be a little nice to Adoree Jackson. I ain't here to pick on Adoree Jackson, although Dak Prescott should pick on Adoree Jackson. That's number one. Number two, the free safety. Well, you're going to have a hard time attacking that free safety if you don't have the protection. And I'm going to get to Dallas's offensive line, but what can you do to create the ability to attack down the field? You got to get that Vic Fangio shell to come a little closer to the line of scrimmage, to get a little closer to the underneath stuff. How do you do that? Very, very simple. Number one, you establish the run game. Dallas offense running game only had 3 plays of 20-yard rushes or more last year. That's terrible. I don't know where it ranks as far as league ranks, but I can guarantee you that is bottom of the league, 30th, 31, 32. I can almost guarantee you that. That's not going to get it done. Now, I don't need Dallas's run offense to be what the Eagles or the Ravens' run offense was last year. I don't need that. I don't need them to be a top 5 rushing attack. What I need from Dallas is to have a respectable rushing attack. Make the defense at the very least think about what you're going to do. Think about the possibility that you're going to run the football. That's all. So You get Javonte Williams with his 4 yards in a cloud of dust. Okay, cool. What's super important in their run game is to use Miles Sanders. Yes, that Miles Sanders, former Eagle, former Nittany Lion. You use Miles Sanders and you use CD Lamb as an extension of your run game. You use them in screens, you use them in end arounds, you use them in little halfback swings. Find certain ways to get them the ball at the line of scrimmage or before so that they can act as an extension of your run game because the way the defense is going to react is going to be very similar to a run game. You get those things established early and quickly, I can promise you, the Dallas Cowboys will have their opportunities to hit them deep, to hit them over the top. I can guarantee it. It is essential they get the run game going. So, what is it? Number one, get the run game going. Let them respect it. Let them creep up a little bit. Let them keep that deep safety who's going to be Sidney Brown because you want Blankenship towards the line of scrimmage. Let Sidney Brown have to cover a bigger area and attack him. Attack him. Attack Sidney Brown. Attack Adoree Jackson. But those things are not going to happen if you can't establish some sort of presence with your run game. That's as far as the Dallas offensive attack is concerned. Defensively, what does Dallas have to do to have a shot? The first thing they got to do is make sure AJ Brown and Devontae Smith don't take over this ball game. That's the first thing they got to do. Their secondary is there's the second most important unit for the Dallas Cowboys. Why I say second most important? I'll get to the most important. Their secondary is the second most important to me. If I'm if I'm the Cowboys defensive coordinator, I'm putting Trevon Diggs on Devontae Smith. I'm putting my best corner on their number two receiver, and I'm going to roll the coverage to assist with AJ Brown. If Dallas Goddard is the number one target tonight, I can live with that. But I can't live with AJ Brown and Devontae Smith getting 15, 20, 40-yard plays on my secondary because I'm not matching up properly. Secondly, Saquon Barkley. Survive Saquon. Okay. Saquon is going to get stronger and stronger as the game goes on. That is one of his super strengths with the Philadelphia Eagles. This is not the same Saquon Barkley that was in New York. This is Saquon Barkley at his full potential in Philly, where he actually learned how to play running back. He actually learned how to hit the hole. He learned how to have that superior vision of his work to his advantage consistently. So you just got to find a way to survive Saquon. You're not going to stop him. Do not. I would not sell out to stop Saquon, but find a way to survive him. And the one weakness to this Eagles offensive line is their right guard. The left side is as good as they come in the league, as good as you'll find in probably ever. Shout out to Mailata, who's a seventh round pick, turned into an all pro left tackle. Doesn't happen. Shout out to Howie. Shout out to Rugby. Survive Saquon. And the one way you can survive Saquon is by finding ways to exploit that right guard over and over and over. But more importantly than anything, make sure AJ Brown and Devontae Smith are not the ones taking over this ball game. If you can prevent them from taking over defensively, you have a shot. All you got to do is get to the end of the game, and at the end of the game, anything can happen. Dallas's offensive line. Dallas's offensive line, the one thing that I appreciate about their offensive line is they fight. They are a very tough group. They are going to fight, they are going to claw, and they're going to do whatever they can to survive. The thing I don't like, they're young, they're inconsistent. And now you have a right guard in there. So Zach Martin is now gone. Now you got a rookie right guard in there. Again, I think he's going to be good. I think he's the next great Cowboys guard. But it's going to take him a while to get to that same level of play. And more importantly, it's going to take them a while as a group. Offensive line play is one band, one sound. It's communication. It's camaraderie. It's continuity. That's offensive line play, and they just don't have the continuity from Guyton, Smith, Cooper Beebe, who I like. This new kid, Tyler Booker, Terrence Steele. There are just questions because they haven't been together long, and they didn't play very well last year. That Cowboys offensive line did not play very well last year. So the number one thing that I'm focusing on tonight is that offensive line. How will they hold up? How will they defend the interior? I think on the edge, if the Eagles' edge dominates this game, then it's going to be a long season for the Dallas Cowboys because I think the Eagles' edge is going to be better later in the season than they are going to be tonight. Now, the interior for the Eagles, that's as consistent comes. So they're going to be prepared tonight. They will play tonight to their abilities. However, the number one question in any week one matchup is what? Conditioning. Every single week one matchup, it is all about conditioning. So for both teams, I have been an advocate of this for years. For both teams, week one, first quarter, I'm coming out no huddle. Not fast pace, not fast tempo, not spread offense. Just come out no huddle. Couple drives in the first quarter and see how your opposing defense reacts. Those are the keys. Those are some of the big major keys. Again, for Dallas, how will they handle Saquon, particularly in the second half? I would put Trevon Diggs on number 6 and roll my coverage to AJ Brown. And if Dallas Goddard is the guy getting it done, oh well. For the Cowboys on offense, establish your run. Patience is a necessity against this Eagles defense. Say it again. Patience is a necessity against this Eagles defense. Establish the run, get some salad dressing going, and be patient. Get the tight end involved on the underneath stuff. Just find ways to get that defense to want to play closer and closer to the line of scrimmage because that is going to open up some things deep. That is going to open up some things on the outside. And if you can get that over and over as the game goes on, opportunities to go deep, opportunities to throw outside, the Dallas Cowboys are going to have a lot of success in this game if they can do those things. For Philly, very simple. I am attacking the cornerbacks early. The Cowboys front seven is improved. Forget the Micah Parsons trade. Micah Parsons is gone. And while, yes, he is a loss, long term, it is a gain for the Dallas Cowboys. Number one, you don't got to pay him $47 million. dollars. I don't care how you spin it. That's a loss. All right. And then I'm gonna try to find some of these names that I wrote down earlier just to make sure I don't forget anybody. On the interior, you got Kenny Clark and Osa Iduzana. I gotta remember how to say his name. We all gonna know how to say his name by the end of the season. Just turn on the tape for the second half of that kid's season. He just got paid 4 years, 80 million, 52 guaranteed for a reason. There is a reason the Cowboys paid him. They didn't pay him after Micah. They paid that man back in the spring. There is a reason he paid him. So now you look at their defense. You got two defensive tackles on the inside that can stuff the run, that can shoot gaps, that can play a little two gap if you needed to play two gap. Although I wouldn't recommend it, but nonetheless, you got two heavy guys that can stop the run and rush the passer on the interior. Everybody's talking about Kenny Clark. He had a down year last year. He had a down year because he got hurt in Brazil, which I will get to the Brazil game tomorrow when we do a show tomorrow and my thoughts and my issue with the game in Brazil. Okay. Only plays for one football in Brazil and in American football. I'll get to that later. I'll get to that tomorrow. So Kenny, he's healthy, he's ready, and he's going to produce. That's the interior. On the edge, you got Sam Williams, second round pick, SEC player. They drafted again. I gotta remember his. I gotta learn how to say his name. Donovan Izaruku. He led the nation in sacks in college out of Boston College. They brought in Dante Fowler, a double-digit sack guy. They brought in Solomon Thomas, former third overall pick. Now he hasn't panned out, but nonetheless, he's going to be a rotational player that provides value. Even if you don't, okay, he might not be a third overall talent, but he's been in the league long enough now where where he's at least productive enough to constantly be on a roster. And as a rotational player, his value goes up. Now Mozzie Smith, he has been very disappointed, and the reports that I read is that in all likelihood he will be traded, and it seems like the Chiefs are the front runner for that trade. But their defensive line, there's talent and there's depth. Superstar ain't there. Oh well, they still got talent and they still got depth. Their linebackers, Kenneth Murray, Jack Sanborn, Overshown. Overshown, when he gets back, hopefully he comes back. Hopefully he's healthy. His injury was looking more serious than it ended up being. Now, obviously, ACL is never not serious, but nonetheless, everything is showing that he's gonna be ready to play. So that's your front seven for Dallas. Like losing Parsons, okay, that's significant. But looking down the road for Dallas, looking at their roster, looking at their cap space, looking at their draft capital, there is big reason for optimism if you're the Cowboys because you can add several pieces when you head into the offseason next year. They weren't going to win the Super Bowl this year regardless. They're probably going to finish third. They were probably going to finish third in their division with or without Michael Parsons. Sorry, Jorge. Still think your boys are going to finish last. So if you telling me with or without Dallas, with or without Parsons, we finish in third, and next year, and the year after that, and the year after that, I got a defensive player that I'm paying all $47 million to, and I still have all these holes elsewhere. What is that? What have I really done for my football team? So now you can keep George Pickens if you want. You can go ahead and trade some of those first round picks if you want an all pro talent, a veteran, a young person who's established as a superstar in this league. If you're Dallas, looking forward, there is a lot of reason for optimism. And I know the Cowboys fans think every year is their year and this and that. Slow your roll. This ain't it. It's not this year. It was never going to be this year. What we need to see from Dallas this year is a healthy Dak Prescott, is improvement from their offensive line, and their linebackers and their secondary have to take a major leap. I believe their defensive line have showed natural progression, and I don't think that's going to change. I think they are going to stay on that same trajectory. Some of those young players. Let Hopefully the linebackers are better. Hopefully they get healthier, and I think next year we are going to be looking at a scary Dallas team. My biggest question overall, as far as the Dallas Cowboys are concerned, the coaching staff. It has not been talked about enough. You fire Mike McCarthy after 3 12-win seasons. Last year, they had all those injuries, including their quarterback, and you fire him. I get the Schottenheimer hire slash promotion. Eberflus is a very good defensive coordinator who's been in that locker room before as a linebackers coach. I'm okay with that entirely. How will Schottenheimer and their offensive staff and his offensive staff perform? How will they prepare their players? How will they call the plays? How will they handle situational football? That is my biggest question mark as far as the Dallas Cowboys are concerned. I'm gonna take a quick sip of this imported coffee. Shout out to everybody in the comment section. Exactly, Trav. We always knew they was gonna finish last. Shout out to Orlando Jones, hit him with the flight of the bumblebee. Appreciate you, Joe. Man, that's the truth. That is the honest truth about offensive line football. One band, one sound. Now, let's look ahead to the Philadelphia Eagles real quick. And then I'm gonna give you my MVP prediction, and then I'm gonna give you my Super Bowl prediction, and then I'm gonna jump out of here, make sure everybody gets ready for the game before kickoff. Um, as I said earlier, the Eagles have a couple weaknesses on their roster. It starts with the deep safety. I highlighted it. CJ Gardner Johnson is a pest. He is just a pest. He plays the furthest from the line of scrimmage, yet he is always somehow near the ball carrier, one way or another. He is just a pest. And every championship team, whether it's basketball, whether it's football, whether it's soccer, you need a pest. You need somebody who's just going to be constantly in somebody's face for 4 quarters or 3 periods, as far as hockey is concerned, or 2 halves, as far as soccer is concerned. So CJ Gardner being gone is something. That's not nothing. His presence, his leadership, his nastiness, his rowdiness, his chippiness, they're gonna miss all that. And he played exceptionally well in the role they had him in last year. Darius Slay, when you have offensive players talking about how Darius Slay being gone is a big miss in this locker room, his presence not being there is felt. When you have an offensive player saying that, that's significant. That's something to keep an eye out on. So again, Adoree Jackson, he's on his third football team. He was cut by the Titans. He was cut by the Giants, who had a horrible secondary last year. They were in no position to cut starting corners, yet they cut Adoree Jackson. There is a reason he is not on those teams. I'm sorry, there just is. He is a weakness. I believe he will be a liability. And again, this Vic Fangio defense, they do pattern reading, they do cover two, they play cover three. It's mainly cover two, they play cover three. But there are many situations where the outside corner is one on one. And when it inevitably will be Adoree Jackson one on one, I am throwing that way every time. Every time. Move to the front. As I said earlier on the show, okay, on Happy Hour with Johnny Radio and Jay Ham, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Central, 12 p.m. Eastern. The front seven for the Eagles are a Pacific Rim monster. Like when you are the offense and you line up against them, you're like, oh my God, what are we about to do? The weakness is going to be that fourth pass rusher. Carter, Davis, the kid from Georgia, Noah Smith, solid. But you lost Josh Sweat. So who's going to be that guy? Who's going to be that fourth pass rusher? That to me is a weakness. And then finally, the other weakness is the right guard. Becton is gone. How is that right guard going to perform? So my outlook for the Philadelphia Eagles is they are going to still be the creme de la creme. But when we are talking about them repeating, I think they are going to fall short of that because of those weaknesses, primarily the deep safety and the outside corner. And it's probably going to rear its ugly head the most when they play the Washington Commanders because the Washington Commanders should be able to block this defensive line. And Jaden Daniels, which I'll talk about on Sunday, has insane level of accuracy. So the Eagles are still going to be great. They're going to be even dominant at times throughout the year. They're going to make the playoffs. They might end up with the number 1 seed. But I think when we get to January, one of those flaws, it's going to rear its ugly head. And that'll be the reason they fall short. Vic Jr., welcome, baby. Welcome. Half an hour into the program. We're not going to try to be here much longer, but welcome. I don't know if you heard anything I was saying.
Oh, yeah, I've been listening, Bobby. I've been listening.
How are you feeling?
Feeling good, man. Doing the kid thing, you know what I mean?
You doing the kid
sure
thing.
They're all settled in. Got my hair all looking all crazy and stuff like that. I'll make sure, see the receding hairline going back and stuff like that. Kind of like the Cowboys in the standings very soon.
Yeah, you out here looking like a father of 3, baby. It's all good.
Jesus,
Talk to me.
Yeah, no, I like what you were saying about the offensive line. When it comes to the beef, I'm there, ready to listen, ready to learn, ready to talk about it. It's so important for them to play as a unit. Like you said, it's got to be a rhythm to it. They got to play as one. And it's once you see those things happening, it's a beautiful sight. Kind of like the Eagles offensive line, who, for the most part, for over 5-6 years now, have had a lot of continuity. Of course, the center retired, but you still got the right tackle who's outstanding. You still got the left tackle who's outstanding. So those guys are significantly better than what you're going to see with the Cowboys.
Yeah.
But again, the 3 Tylers, man, Tyler Guyton, Tyler Smith, Tyler Booker. If the Cowboys can develop those guys like they've done in the past, they got a chance to be back in those days where they had very strong offensive line play, because that's just going to be important ultimately for this offense.
Right.
The defense losing Micah is going to be tough, man. I don't know how they're going to overcome that. Sam Williams feels like he can take over and become that kind of pass rusher. I'm not sure if that's possible, but that offense is gonna have to take a step further, and I don't know what that step is, bro. Because is the quarterback getting better? CeeDee Lamb is playing at a 99. George Perkins, he just got in there. Of course, he's got room to get better, but continuity. What's going to happen there? And then of course, the run game. What did they do for the running game? This, in terms of the running back position. So the Cowboys, man, Jerry. I don't know exactly what's going on, but they might be able to prove us wrong, right? But we'll see, man, because it's been decades where they draft very well, So
let's talk about it a little bit. Number one, we'll get to the film. I actually think Mike McCarthy cleaned up some things with Dak Prescott. That's number one. Mm-hmm. Number two, are you not happy with the running back room of Javonte Williams, Miles Sanders, and Jadon Blue?
Not a big fan of Jadon Blue. He's not my favorite running back out of this class. Mm-hmm. I think they might use him more as more of a receiving back right now. Maybe come in third downs, passing situations. Maybe it's not like he's top tier in that, in terms of prospect and at that from that perspective either. And then Miles Sanders and Javonte Williams, bro, there was a period where Miles Sanders looked like he was going to be an outstanding running back for 4 or 5 years. When he was in Philly and stuff like that. But then there was just been a fall off, and that's what happens with these running backs. So I don't. There's just nobody that's explosive there. There's nobody that you can say, I'm gonna lean on you when we're winning this game to close it out for us. I just don't see that with them. And if they're gonna have to keep passing and passing, because Dak has become a great deep ball passer. Like, he's legit. I think it was like two or three in terms of the deep ball, according to PFF last year. But to rely on him to throw over 30 times a game, that's going to be rough. That's going to be rough.
Yeah. I think that's the biggest thing is when they get to a situation where can we lean on you to close out this game? But not to be funny, I don't think they're going to be in too many positions where they're going to have such a lead where they can just where they have to run the ball out. I think they're going to win plenty of games. I really do.
Right.
But again, I don't think I think the running game has to be about effort more than anything. And like I said, you use Miles Sanders and CD Lamb and even Turpin. Turpin now is, or not Turpin, Tolbert. He is now a weapon because he is no longer having to be a staple piece to what you do offensively. He can be now that gadget player because you have George Pickens, because you have CD Lamb, and more importantly, because you have Dak Prescott back. So he can be a weapon. And as a weapon, as a gadget, he's a lot more valuable. He's a lot more dangerous. Let's keep moving here. The offensive line. The interior, I think, will come together very quickly for this offensive line. How concerned are you with Tyler Guyton and Terrence Steele
Very
on the
concerned.
outside?
Very concerned because that Tyron Smith is not going to walk through that door. Okay, Tyler Guyton, there's potential there. I don't know. He doesn't. There's times where I saw on film where it just seemed like he didn't get off his sets fast enough. Pass rushes were beating him a little bit at the edge. I'm not sure if he's got the lower body strength to be an elite left tackle. Can he be a mid-tier left tackle? Maybe, but that's going to require a lot more CeeDee Lamb, a lot more is it Ferguson, the tight end? I forget his first name. But the outstanding tight end as well. So are they going to be able to use? Are they going to be able to block at the tackle position to use George Perkins as he gets the deep ball role? That's going to be the question because Steele is just a bridge player to me. Somebody that's whenever you could draft somebody better. So that those three in the middle are going to have to be like elite level players, and they definitely have the potential to do that.
Yeah.
I do like the center as well. So it's just they're gonna get a lesson today on what it is to play tackle by those Eagles tackles. So I hope they'll be there in the sideline watching how to block. Because that's gonna be interesting, bro.
No,
I don't know,
yeah.
man.
No, I completely agree with you. You talk about a bridge player. He's been a bridge player for 6 years now. So
I mean, is it been that long? Has it been that long he's been there?
Yeah, he was drafted in 2020.
Wow.
Yeah, he drafted in
Yeah,
2020.
I mean,
So
he's. I mean, again, Tyron Smith. It's just the aura from those days, man. It's like Doug Free and all
yeah,
these other guys that they've had at right tackle.
Nate Newton. Shout out to Newton.
Yeah. It's just we'll see, man. It's gonna be tough. I'm not sure if you touched up on the Micah. I see your name there, Parsons. The interruption. That's pretty damn clever of you there.
Thank you.
But losing Micah, that's it's just wild, man.
So
You see the Cowboys in third or fourth place. It's gonna be wild, though. It's gonna be wild.
let's talk about it. Let's talk about it because I can see. I don't know why I'm taking out this ruler. I can see that you have a lot of anxiety about the team that you no longer root for. Shout out to Cino and the air tags. So let's talk about it real quick, okay? Forget the Parsons, forget the existence of Micah Parsons for a second, okay? Micah Parsons does not exist in the conversation we are about to have, all right? Sam Williams, SEC player, powerful player, one hell of a bull rush, a good rip move. Kenny Clark, we know what he can do. Bounce back year. He was injured last year. Osa Odigizuna. I gotta say this dude's name the right way because I can't read my handwriting, and that's why I can't say his name. Okay.
Is that the Oklahoma kid?
Yeah.
A couple years ago.
Now, Vic. Trivia time.
Uh-oh.
Who led
Gosh.
the Cowboys in quarterback hits last year?
Ooh. Man, that's tough. Was it Mackie Smith? What is
No,
it?
Mazi Smith.
Mazzy Smith.
Yeah, no,
The
brother.
other.
No, brother. It was Osa Odezua.
Wow. Okay.
He led the team in quarterback hits. Dante
He's
Fowler.
he's playing the he's playing the one though, or is he playing the three?
He
Three tech.
between him and Kenny, they're gonna be between the 1 and the 3.
Okay.
Between him and Kenny. Dante Fowler, double-digit sack guy. Okay.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Rotationally, you got a rookie who led the nation in sacks last year, and you got Solomon Thomas, who used to be a top 5 pick, but he's a rotational piece. And then you have Mozzie Smith. But like I said about Mozzie, he's probably going to get traded after tonight. So forget him for a second.
Oh, okay.
So
That's
you
breaking
look,
news.
yeah, and it's probably going to be the Chiefs.
Hmm.
That's the story. So you got those pieces. Forget Micah. You got Kenneth Murray there. Overshown will be back. You got a secondary that goes about 6, 7 deep, even though they're not the most talented. If I said to you, if you were the head coach and I was the defensive coordinator, and I say, Coach, with these pieces, and I've given you what they produced in college at previous teams and the NFL, I've shown you the trajectory. If I said to you, as a unit, I can find ways to create pressure.
Hmm.
Would you buy that?
Wow.
Because pass rush is not about one player. It's nice. Forget nice. It is having TJ Watt and JJ Watt and Miles Garrett and Prime Von Miller and Micah Parsons. Yeah, it is super nice to have those guys. But you look at the last 10 years of Super Bowl champions, with the exception of a few, including those Broncos, most of those teams had depth and effort, not necessarily one superstar guy.
Right.
Okay.
No, I mean, because it's like you said before, the sack specifically, right? The statistics that sacks can be overrated, right? You can get a
Yeah, of
sack in
course.
first down. You can get a sack in first and second down, but if you don't get the offense off the field, then what happens? That they sack on first down, but then they get the first down on the next play, then that sack is already worthless, right? It's
Right.
just a number on your stat sheet. So
Correct.
you know the pressures, how much can you get the quarterback to be uncomfortable? How much can you get him to move around is the question, right? So is Sam Williams, is OC, whatever, going to be able to get that consistent pressure all game long to get these guys uncomfortable? Jalen is comfortable getting out the pocket. You know what I mean? Jalen is
Definitely.
comfortable running the football. So it's
Definitely.
how are they gonna scheme that? I can't. That's why they get hired to coach the football team, because I see the Eagles running away with this game. Because this defense, I'm not sure, man. I'm excited that at least Diggs and Deron Bland gonna be playing together.
Yes.
See what happens there, right? See if there's any progression there, from just good to elite. But that's going to be an interesting thing to see what this defense does this year.
I agree. Now let's insert Micah Parsons back into this matrix realm, okay? And after I say this, I'm gonna let you say what you want to say, obviously. We get to next year. Say, hey, coach, I can bring you Micah Parsons for $47 million a year. Or we can add about 5 NFL starters to our roster.
Hmm. You talking about the draft picks?
Not just the draft picks, the
The money,
salary,
yeah,
the
yeah.
salary. I ain't even mentioned the draft picks, the salary.
I
So
mean,
again,
Cowboy fans can attest, man. Shout out to Jeffrey. I'm sure he's still, and I saw him in the chat there, but Jerry has not been spending money on players like he used to,
on the
right?
outside,
For the free agency, yes.
on players from the outside,
From the outside, correct.
he's paying his people though.
Right. No, it's great. Again,
Okay.
like so team building, right? You want to be able to give your players a second contract, right? That means that you drafted well, you developed them well, they played well, and you could sign them again. The Cowboys have been great at doing that. But has he bringing a mix of guys in free agency that you can say have been effective to them winning games?
No.
When's the last time you can, so because you talk about it the most, I rather build my team from a scouting perspective. You talk about it as we need a mixture of both free agency
100%.
and a scouting and from the college level, right?
100%.
So why are they not spending the money? Why are they not, So if they get to save whatever money they were going to give this guy, what was it, over 200 million? I heard some crazy rumors there.
Yeah, that's what it was, 200 million.
So who are you gonna like? First of all, we got to know who's gonna be available. That's number one.
Which we'll get into.
We'll
get into at a later time for sure.
Are they gonna spend the money, bro? Are they gonna spend the money, or are they gonna just be saving money? Like, what is it?
I think
the Packers. I think the Packers give them a top 10 pick this year.
Come on.
We were gonna talk about that soon.
Come on now. We'll talk about that on Sunday. I think Jerry's at a point, especially after this documentary came out, where it's like, I gotta get me one, at least sniff one, before I'm 6 feet under, So let's just, he has given Cowboys fans no reason to think next year will be different in terms of aggressiveness in free agency. All I'm saying, okay? Biggie, give me one more chance. Let's just give him one more chance and see what he does.
That's funny. That's
next
funny.
offseason.
Because I was gonna say the last time the Cowboys were knocking on a NFC Championship door was when Dez Bryant did not apparently make that catch, and then they cut him a couple years later. That's the curse of the Dez Bryant. Okay, on your stupid ass, Jerry. I'm still salty about how they treated Dez, as you can tell.
Nah, I know you are. I can see that. I mean, you should be salty about what they did to DeMarco Murray as well, but
that's
a different story because DeMarco Murray just fell off the planet when he went to Chip Kelly.
Jerry is gonna make sure that he has a great scouting staff. He's gonna make sure that he has a great strength and conditioning staff. He's gonna make sure he has a great coaching staff, maybe.
For the most part.
He's also going to make sure he has a great social media staff, or whatever you want to call them. What's the word? Social media.
They are, as Ham said, they are content creators.
I saw that post a couple hours ago, and that was fantastic. It's just a genius way to put it. Just a genius way to put it. Because what he's not going to be great at is making sure he has football minds in the front office.
Right.
Now, shout out to, oh my God, the guy that should be GM. Escapes my name right now. Escapes my head.
McKay something?
Outstanding scouting leader.
Oh my God, dude.
He is fantastic. I'm talking about the black guy. Because you know how it is. Shout out to Les. The black guy needs to have that GM position.
You talking about for the Cowboys?
Yeah.
Will McClay?
Will McClay. I don't even
Yeah,
know if he's still there.
he is still there.
That's how much I pay attention to the Cowboys these days. But shout out to Will McClay, one of the most probably one of the best scouting minds in the world. Okay, and
Yeah.
he should have been GM like 5 years ago. Pretty sure
So
Jeffrey Conseda, Kelly, Jerry, Corey, Stove, all of those guys will tell you they want Will McClay as the GM.
so shout out to Will McClay. He was a player for the Detroit Drive Arena Football League. He was a defensive coordinator for the Milwaukee Mustangs, defensive coordinator for the Florida Bobcats, defensive coordinator. I know Big Shot is enjoying these. Defensive coordinator for the Anaheim Piranhas, defensive coordinator for the Grand Rapids Rampage, defensive
Talk,
coordinator for the Dallas Desperados,
talk
and
about a
then
resume, dog.
and then he was a head coach for the Dallas Desperados. Shout out to the Arena Football League. Anyways, um, look, Jeffrey is loving everything you saying. By the way, Vic, shout out to Jeffrey. He's right about
Me
Nate
and Jeff,
Thomas. Nate Thomas might get some reps. I also think I'm curious what improvements TJ Bass has made because he came in last year a couple times. When Guyton got injured, he stepped in because they kicked out Tyler Smith to left guard, and then he got a couple reps for Zach Martin at right guard. So I'd be really interested to see if he gets some playing time, how much he's improved. Certainly. All
yeah,
right,
I just like
good.
I don't know who's. I just don't know which one's the weakest link on this offensive line between the tackles, man. You know,
I think it's Terrence Steele because the ceiling has already been established, in my opinion.
right,
That's
right.
that. Whereas with Guyton, there's a lot of room for improvement, a
The
lot
upside is
of
there.
room. But
Yep.
the upside is there, absolutely.
So
The
now,
upside is there.
so what from what you've seen, do you think he's just not fast enough off his position, off his stance, or is he just not a left tackle in this league? Like,
So that's my question for sure. That's my question for sure. Is he an actual left tackle? Um,
I'm not putting
and
the big boys in there.
would Howard Smith perform at left tackle if you
The
trained him
thing
in
is,
development at left tackle full time?
so okay, so when you talk about type, right, archetype of the players, Tyler Booker, would you say he's more power or agile?
Power.
Tyler Smith, more power or agile?
I would have
Mix.
to say power.
Cooper's gonna be.
No. Oof. I don't know. I don't know.
He might be
That's
a
a coin
mix.
flip. That's a
He
coin
might be a
flip.
mix, right? Cooper Beebe might be a power.
But he's got some agility to him, which is why I like him.
Okay. So is this line going to be more power or more agile? Because the
You,
question is I don't know if Tyler
that's a
is
great question. That's a great
right.
question.
I don't know. So like again, I don't know what the offensive coordinators are going to do. The coaching, I like that's not. Again, I'm the scout guy. I'm just getting the players there for you.
I hear you. I hear you.
How are they going to establish the run? What is there going to be their forte? Are we going to do zones? Are we going to do gap schemes? Are we going to mix it up? What type of players do you have at the offensive line first before you get to the running backs? Because the running backs
Boy,
ain't shit if you ain't got the offensive line. So, you know, is Tyler Guyton a power guy or an agile guy? I don't know either.
yeah. Honestly, my mind is blown now because, like, if it was me, I would say let's lean more towards outside zones and run more gap schemes when we go inside.
Mm.
Um, let's see if we can be effective with running some trap plays because there you go. I don't think they have enough in their tank to be dominant this year. So
The
again, the
Cowboys are
run
scary, dog.
the run game the run game has to be more creativity and finesse rather than power.
Right.
Which is always tough. Like, believe me, that's always harder. That's always harder. and that's never effective or sustainable. But it can get you some success. It can get you some wins in the regular season when you have a quarterback and two outstanding receivers on the outside. We're gonna cut it there. We got a lot of football left to talk about for the entire year. This was
Mhm.
just the first show. We got 4 minutes till the top of the hour. Vic, I'm gonna leave your pick and your suggestion, whatever you decide, whatever you predict for the Sunday show. Because I don't know if you've prepared all that. I am gonna give my official MVP prediction, and I'm gonna give my official Super Bowl preseason prediction. My Super Bowl actual prediction usually comes around October, November. Um, but my preseason MVP prediction, winning his second MVP in his career, going back to back with the MVPs. I am going with Josh Allen out of Buffalo to
What?
win the MVP.
Ah,
My
uh,
other two finalists were
oh man.
Jaden Daniels and Joe Burrow. The reason I didn't pick Joe Burrow is because I don't think the Bengals are going to make the playoffs. The
Oof.
reason I didn't pick Jaden Daniels, no real negative reason. I just think Josh Allen is going to once again have that Superman cape on. Sometimes when he doesn't need it, sometimes he needs to learn how to be that guy in the office with the glasses on, just doing the work in the background. But nonetheless, I think Josh Allen is going to go back to back
I'm
as
I'm
the MVP.
I'm gonna give you a little bit of a hard time, right? Forget the Josh Allen because I know you're not a big Josh Allen fan, so I applaud you. You
Thank
know what I'm
you.
saying for
Thank you.
picking him.
Thank
But
you.
I'm gonna give you a little bit of hard time here, right? How many votes does Jordan Love have to get for the Packers to even be close to the playoffs?
Back
I
off
don't
of
like
Jordan
him.
Love.
I don't
Back
like
off
him
of
this
Jordan
year,
Love.
dog. I don't
All
like
right.
him this
We're
year,
going to talk
dog.
about it. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it. With that being said,
Yes, sir.
my Super Bowl prediction.
Uh-oh.
I went back and forth so many times with who would make it to the Super Bowl out of the NFC. I flipped a coin. I drew straws. I called up some of my previous engagements that like to read energy and cards and all that stuff. Okay. Call me now. Yeah, I dated a Miss Cleo, Vic, a real
Oh,
life
yeah.
Miss Cleo. But hey, she was fine. Anyways, forgive me. I went back and forth so many times. I want to pick the Packers so bad. Hang on.
What? What?
Hang on. But my instincts, my lebistical, lebistuition. All right, we're gonna work on that term. My intuition told me to look at certain logic. Who has the quarterback? Who has the tackles offensively? And who has the defense that can travel? While a lot of names popped up, when it came to the tackles, that was a lot shorter of a pool. So, without further ado, my preseason Super Bowl prediction is a battle of the Beltway. Give me the Washington Commanders
Oh,
versus the Baltimore Ravens
oui.
in the Super Bowl in San Francisco with Taylor Swift performing.
Ugh.
And if I had to pick a winner, I'm going with Jaden Daniels and the Washington Commanders to win the Super Bowl this year. And that's my
Boy,
preseason prediction.
that would actually be very fun.
I
You have to
think
put
you
up with
got
the
to look
Raven
at a few
fans, but
things. Shout out to my brother, Big Shot, with the history and math. I'll get into it on Sunday. History and math. is at play for the Washington Commanders as well. I tip my hat. Vic, anything you want to add? We have hit the 1 hour mark. I didn't want us to go over an hour. Tomorrow, we're going live before the Chiefs game. And then Sunday, the official return of Views and Views. Get your popcorn ready. Take us home, Vic.
22, dog. Eagles tonight, 48-0.
Damn. Eagles, Cowboys cover. We out.